So Hoka has released some really great updates this year. The Mach 4 got a complete redesign with some huge improvements. The Clifton 8 got some more subtle improvements, but what they did change made some big impacts. And then the Rincon 3 fixed a lot of the issues that we had with the previous version. So with so many great improvements this year, how will you ever choose which Hoka is best for you? Well, in this video I'm going to compare the Clifton 8, the Rincon 3, and the Mach 4, and then we'll see if I can help you decide which one's best for you. So first, let's start by looking at the uppers. The Rincon 3 uses a new engineered sandwich mesh that feels a bit more premium than the previous upper. However, the tongue gets downgraded in my opinion because it loses its light padding that it had and it gets shorter. However, this does save some weight in the end. So overall, the Rincon 3 has a super light, minimal, pretty breathable upper with some light padding around the heel, but it does have that really short and thin style tongue like you found on shoes like the Carbon X2. The Mach 4 uses a lightweight engineered mesh that has TPU yarn spun into it. There are some smaller ventilation holes, but it is still somewhat decently breathable. It had some padding around the heel and ankle similar to the Rincon 3, but the Mach 4 has an Achilles fin. The tongue is gusseted and is pretty much the same as on the first Carbon X and the Rocket X, which are very lightly padded. Overall, I found the upper of the Mach 4 to be super comfortable, nice and minimal, and definitely more up-tempo oriented. So the Clifton 8 uses engineered mesh that is still minimal, but is more built up compared to the uppers on the other two. It has more padding around the ankle and the heel, and overall has a much improved fit from the Clifton 7. The tongue is way more padded on the Clifton 8 than the other two shoes I'm comparing, so the padded tongue gives the upper a very plush feel, and it's also partially gusseted so it wraps your foot nicely. So overall, the upper on the Clifton 8 focuses mainly on that plush and comfortable feel. Alright, so now that we've gone over all the uppers, which one is the best? Well, let's start with the worst. So I think that the Rincon 3 gets the worst upper out of the three. It still has a really good upper, but that tongue just doesn't do it for me. So now between the Mach 4 and the Clifton 8, again, I really like both of these uppers. They both have different purposes. This one's definitely more plush and comfortable. This one's a little more streamlined and sleek. It's hard to choose, but I think I'm gonna have to give the win to the Mach 4 just because it's so slipper-like and super comfortable that I barely notice it's there. Alright, now let's compare the midsoles. So the Rincon 3 has a stack height of 33mm in the heel, 28 in the forefoot, which gives it a 5mm heel-to-toe drop. The Rincon 3 uses compression molded EVA that feels a tad softer than the previous model, and I think that the ride of the Rincon 3 is also improved from the Rincon 2. Just feels a bit smoother, a little bit livelier, and it still is responsive and light though. The Mach 4 has a stack height of 29mm in the heel, 24 in the forefoot, and again a 5mm heel-to-toe drop. The midsole on the Mach 4 uses a super soft compression molded EVA on the top half and a very firm rubberized EVA on the bottom half. So thanks to both these foams, it makes a really lively, responsive, and super smooth ride. Both those different midsole materials work together to handle a variety of paces. Last up is the Clifton 8. This has a stack height of 37mm in the heel, 32 in the forefoot, and again a 5mm heel-to-toe drop. The midsole material is a softer flavor of the compression molded EVA that has that signature Hoka marshmallow feel. For the ride of the shoe, it's super soft and plush and is definitely the most cushioned out of these three. Alright, so out of these three shoes, which one has the best midsole? Well, let's start with the Rincon. Unfortunately, I think this one gets last place in my opinion again. Not that it's a bad midsole at all, I just found it to be less lively than the other two midsoles, even though it is still super light and very cushioned. So between the Mach 4 and the Clifton 8, I think that the Mach 4 has a super fun ride. It does have the lowest stack height out of all three of these shoes. That ProFly midsole makes it super versatile. However, after about 50 miles or so, I found that that top layer of softer foam kind of broke down and just wasn't as bouncy as it initially was when I first got it out of the box. So for the winner of this round, it's going to go to the Clifton 8 because I have close to 150 miles on this shoe and done tons of long runs in it, and the cushion is still super marshmallowy, super soft, and it's just my go-to for recovery and long run days. Alright, now it's time to compare the outsoles. So the Rincon 3 now uses more high abrasion rubber patches in the forefoot and the heel than it did in previous models, and this does have decent grip, and it's definitely an upgrade durability wise from the previous Rincons that were missing rubber in some of the key wear areas. So the outsole of the Mach 4 is a firm, almost plastic-like rubberized EVA that is the continuation of the midsole. It does have some decent grip on the road, but it definitely isn't the same as what you get from rubber. And since there isn't an actual outsole, it does take a big hit in the durability department. So like the Rincon 3, the Clifton 8 uses high abrasion rubber, but has slightly more coverage. While it does start to wear down in high wear areas after 100 miles, it's honestly a pretty durable rubber. Alright, now let's go over the results. So I think the outsole of the Mach 4, it does a decent job for not having any actual rubber, but unfortunately it gets last place since it just isn't as good as the actual rubber on the other two shoes. So between the Rincon 3 and the Clifton 8, they're super similar, and I give kudos to the Rincon 3 for getting an improvement over last year. However, I think the Clifton 8 is going to get the gold medal in this round just because it's been super durable and reliable. So the next category is weight. The Rincon 3 comes in at a lightweight 7.3 ounces, the Mach 4 is a bit heavier at 8 ounces, and the Clifton 8 is the heaviest at 8.9 ounces. So obviously you can determine who won this round. The Rincon 3 is going to be the lightest and the Clifton 8 is going to be the heaviest. However, all three of these shoes are relatively light for being such high cushioned shoes. Alright, now let's move on to the final category, which is price. These are the current retail prices of these shoes when I'm filming this video. The Rincon 3 is $115, the Mach 4 is $130, and the Clifton 8 is also $130. So, not only is the Rincon 3 the lightest of the three, but it's also the least expensive, with the Clifton 8 and the Mach 4 being tied at just $15 more. Okay, so with all the categories out of the way, it is time to add up the results and do a count of the medals. So let's start with the Rincon 3 and see what its medal count is. Alright, so for the Rincon 3, we have 2 gold medals, 1 silver, and 2 bronze. The Mach 4 has 1 gold medal, 3 silver medals, and 1 bronze. And finally, the Clifton 8 has 2 golds, 2 silvers, and 1 bronze. So I'm giving some different points to the medals. We have a gold medal which is worth 3 points, the silver medal is worth 2 points, and then that bronze medal is only going to be worth 1 point. So if we tally up the scores here, we will see that it is a very close race. We have the Mach 4 and the Rincon 3 actually tied in second place with 10 points, which means that just by a hair, by 1 single point, the winner is the Clifton 8. Alright, so this was a very close competition, and obviously these categories don't mean everything, and one shoe could be better for me, and a different shoe could be better for you. So, I'd say that the Rincon 3 is really good for somebody that's looking for a great budget shoe that's super lightweight and nice and minimal, but you still get a ton of protection and cushioning underfoot. But if you're looking for a shoe that is super versatile, can pretty much handle anything you throw at it, is nice and speedy, I think that the Mach 4 is a good option just because that dual density midsole handles slower paces and faster paces well, and it's still lighter than the Clifton 8. Speaking of which, I think a person that would like this shoe is somebody who loves plush marshmallowy cushion, does a lot of long mileage or maybe some slower paces, really wants a good recovery or long day shoe. So if you want to learn more about these shoes individually, make sure you check out my videos. I have a full review of the Mach 4 live. I have a full review of the Clifton 8 coming in a week or so make sure you stay tuned for that. And then I'm close to being ready for my full review of the Rincon 3 as well. Subscribe so you don't miss any of those videos. And let me know in the comments down below, have you tried all three of these shoes? Which one is your favorite and why? And as always, keep on running.